Well, welcome everybody. We are back home. What do we got here? There we are. We are back home, and it's going to be the first sand out of the white. I put this on the pavement out in front of John's after painting it, and believe it or not, it's pretty white. The whole thing is pretty white, so it's not going to take much paint. The things that I'm going over now are just some things that need to be fixed. Let's pull this out here so we can get out of the blue light, hopefully, and give you an idea of what I'm doing. So, when I say that I'm painting without paint, I'm not kidding. This thing gained zero, I mean, like nothing. This airplane is 51 ounces. Now, it started out as 51, and we pretty much stayed at 51. So what I'm doing now is there are some spots in it that I'm going to go over, and this is the repair stage basically. There's a spot there. I got to get the line out of this area right here, so we'll sand on that for a bit. Let me get this 320. And then sand it all out with 500 because the shine comes from sanding. I can't stress that enough. It really does. Now I had a polywog. What did I do with it? There it is. I ordered another set of polywogs. You can get them from Amazon. They look like this. They're called sanding grips. Basically, I've got all these areas that I need to fix before next Saturday, because next Saturday it's going to get painted. Oh. All those areas need to be fixed. The guy who was not tough enough, he sent me an email with his phone number, but no one answered. That email had a link in it. I ain't clicking on no link. Sorry, it's not that I don't trust anybody. It's just I don't trust anybody. So the thing here is sand all these buggers out. Then I'll go over, there's some spots that have to be hit with aqua green. We'll get those, they're just little pinholes. But this is 2 ounces of paint on this airplane, and in the sunlight, sitting on the ground, it's pretty white. Even though I only shot the blue areas, the white paint kind of dusted out into the other areas. Anybody that knows my airplanes knows that when they go over the top, you can see daylight through the wings because the paint's on that thin. An average car paint job is probably, I don't know, 5 to 7 mils thick. An average paint job on my airplane is 1/2 mil. When the top flight guys from Monaco, I went to Monaco, the Monaco booth, and I asked them if they could teach me how to monocoat as good as they do. And they asked me what I'm using for finish. I told them, jet tissue and dope. They said, you're probably not going to be able to finish any lighter with monocoat than you can with this. So I just stuck with the 1930s way. And this way is from the 1930s. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. I'll hit that with a little primer. So the only spots that I'm going to prime are trouble spots like that, where there's just a slight deviation in it. And I'll probably hit this back here with a little primer. But when I say a little, it will be very little. I've tried to get away from any primer on these airplanes because of the weight of primer. But sometimes I won't spray any primer until I get this canopy molded in. So we'll look for next week on the primer, because it'll take me all day tomorrow to sand out all these spots. So if you guys are watching me sand, you better be sanding. Especially with the gnats coming up a month early. Of course, I'm probably going to fly the Dr. Pepper airplane. That reminds me, tonight I got to do a couple of things. I got to register for the gnats. That's got to be in before May 1st. And I need insurance, so I'll do that after this broadcast. I think Geico is ripping me off, so I'm going to change to Progressive. I think things are going to get real expensive here shortly. So expensive, we ain't going to be able to do anything. Oh, yeah, great. Just what we need. I've been saying look for $5 a gallon gas going to the gnats this year, so we'll see if I'm right. I paid as much as $5 1/4 to go to the gnats. Couldn't afford it then and can't afford it now. This is actually coming out not too bad. I wish the light was better in here. I might have to take it outside and sand tomorrow, depending on the weather, so I can see what I'm doing. Because this blue light that I got, it's just not very good. But all in all, it ain't bad. Let's see here. Let me turn this around. Oh, that's great. That is great. That's why I do these videos, so you can learn. Back in the 70s, 60s and 70s, this was all a secret. Now there are no secrets, at least not with me. I will tell you anything that I'm doing. How to mold wood. Whatever I'm doing, I'll tell you. It don't matter. Let's see, I need that little block. I had a soft block. Oh, my ears are ringing. There we go. Let's see, where was that? That was over here. Let's move back a little bit. Get a little better view. Well, Herbert, that is the name of the game. In here you see a couple of shiny spots. That shiny spot is a low. So we're trying to keep this light. We're going to sand down to the low. So far the finish has cost me nothing, which is amazing. I mean, I thought I was going to put an ounce on anyway today, but we didn't. A couple of grams. Well, I want to show you this here. Right here. Now you can see that it's still dark. That's the carbon spot. You can't see it on this side. I guess I got more paint on it. But you can't feel it. And you got to keep, every time that you put a coat of paint on, you got to knock it off the top, make it dark again, like so. And what that does is it levels it out. Right now, you cannot feel that carbon bridge. So on the final coat, when I cover it up, and especially in the gloss coat, in the clear, you will not be able to tell that it was there. Same with the flap area. And that keeps them from cracking. I had a spot on this side I needed to address. Let's see if you can see that. This rudder, if you remember, I first covered with Dr. Paper and I didn't like it, and I covered it with Jap tissue. Well, it was a high spot here, right here, and I've sanded through both layers of tissue, so I have to block sand that again. it's built up the little hairs that come out from burning through the tissue. Now that's gone. You can't feel it. And we'll just level it a little bit more. Can't feel it. So I won't sand that anymore until I get some more dope on it. Remember, see this right up here? This was all carbon up here. We're going to sand that down until I can see the black. You can't feel it. You can't feel it here either. But I want to bring it back so that it all molds into one piece. Perfect. Perfect. We're still quite nose heavy, so I got a lot of room for paint, but I don't want to use it. Let's see, I had a couple spots over here. Up around the leading edge of this stab. These, you remember when I did the tucker? That's a built-up rudder, and that whole piece, the headrest comes back into the rudder. It looks like it's one piece, and the only way to make it look like one piece is just what I'm doing here. So I want all this to look like one piece. It's more in the feel than it is in the sight. When I brought it over to John, he wasn't looking at it, he was feeling it. And that's the best way to see is with your hands. You can see the black coming back. That's the carbon. You can't see. You can't see it. I got no room here. If you look right here, you can see the black coming back. That's carbon. But that's okay. Now, if they had a white primer like DC 540, that'd be great. White is the heaviest. I think orange is probably the lightest. It covers the best. It covers all of the buggers. There will be much standing going on tonight, tomorrow. If I was pressed from here, and let's say the Nats was next week, I could make it from here if I was pressed. But I really want this paint job to be special because it is the Art Shaw paint job. I need that in open hand. the American flag, so, and I'm not using urethane. And anybody who saw my Continental XL that I sold to Tim would know that that thing looked like plastic. And we're going to try to do the same with this one, only with half the weight. Now you notice that I went away from a block to by hand. The reason being is we're doing a round surface and I was starting to sand facets in it. Well, I'm standing at a crosshatch here to try to keep those facets out. And you don't want to sand this way with your fingers because you leave 3 finger grooves in it. You want to sand, you know, the lengthwise and maybe cup the paper. Circles help. We're getting quite a bit of that white off there. So what I'm using the white as the primer basically. Now the rudder being a flat surface, we're going to go back to the block. Just popped in a little history from my Premiere. I have an idea I would let's see, just popped in from my Premiere, a little history. If I don't know, I would brought the rest of Bad Chad Gang along. Skills, buddy, skills, you bet. Okay, soft block, 320. I still have to go over this with 500. And then when it gets its second coat of dope, it'll be 1000 grit. But this is a flat surface. You want to use the block, soft block. Now this dope has changed since I was a kid. When I was a kid, it wouldn't be dry. Right now, it's powdering off. That's amazing. I guess they're putting more xylene in it than they used to. Xylene's the drying agent. Nothing was as good as Aerogloss, but I found that the Randolph is probably second best. Somebody mentioned on another video of mine that they thought Rodak was made by Randolph. Well, it is, but it's proprietary. And what John and I were discussing today is we think they're watering it down to make a little more money because it's not the same. You get half the pigment. And certified is even worse, which is SIG. So it's best to just order it from the aircraft suppliers such as Aircraft Spruce or Wix is where my loyalties kind of lie because they used to support Stunhanger. I need to get back with Eric and see if he still wants me to rep his company. I wish I could finish these like a car and just lay the primer on you know, the feather fill and sand out the feather fill, but this thing would be 25 pounds when I was done. We're at 51 ounces right now, and I'm figuring the rest of the paint job is going to add. God, I'm hoping only 4 or 5 ounces more. And you guys that are spraying urethane, just remember, whatever you spray on stays on. So whatever that cup weighs, that's what the airplane's going to weigh. I use no primer. This is white. Okay, let me explain. What I paint with is dope. Dope is glue. It's it's film. It's 35 millimeter film melted with acetone. It's an aircraft product that was designed in the 30s. And that's what they use on all fabric covered airplanes. So I can't really say this is paint. Like I say, it's glue. It's covering, attaching material, and ultraviolet protecting for the covering material. How can I explain this? Nitrate dope is for metal. So if you're going to put your covering on a metal frame, say your wing structure is metal, you can use zinc chromate to protect the metal, which is a good idea, but you're going to have to put nitrate dope on top of that because it etches into the metal. It kind of grabs the metal. Then you put your covering over, and then you cover with paint it with butyrate. Butyrate is a shrinking dope at all times. It never stops shrinking. The old trick for the old Aerogloss days was 1 drop of castor oil per ounce of dope. And that was a plasticizer. They make some other better plasticizers now because the covering's always flexing. And if you look back at the old airplanes, there'd be cracks all over them. Well, that's because they didn't use any type of Flexol. Well, that's what the castor oil's for. But this new dope today has some type of Flexol agent already in it. So what I'm doing here, when he said it looks smooth already, is I'm getting all the imperfections out because there is no primer. There is no, I will shoot a very little primer on this. I might put some there in the corner or whatever, and I'm going to come back over with another coat of white dope and then level it out. I paint without paint. And since my painting diet that I kind of put everybody on, where you only get 1 quart of dope, I've tried to keep it so that we're keeping that half quart of dope on the top instead of in the substrate. The substrate only has to be enough dope to fill the grain, and you're using the Japanese tissue to fill the grain and to stick the covering to. I don't use nitrate because I'm not building metal airplanes. These are all wood. I only use butyrate. The surface has to be super smooth so the grain is closed. You get 3 coats of butyrate. Then you put on the Japanese tissue. Then you get 3 more coats of butyrate. And then you go to spray. So those coats are very thin. They're mixed, 50-50 or better. 1-to-1 for you car guys. Or 1.5-to-1 for car guys. It's not like urethane where it's 5-to-1-to-1, 4-to-1, or 2-to-1. It's very thin. And that's what keeps the weight down. And you guys want to watch somebody who sands, go look at Bad Chad. He's like I say, he's a young guy, and he really knows his stuff. You know, I'm a welder by day, so I know exactly what he's doing and how he's doing it. I transitioned from being a Harley mechanic to a fabricator. I don't have much longer left to work. You know, I came out of retirement to go to work for Jerry, and then he passed away on me. So we'll finish out the year here, and I'll be going back to building airplanes full time again. And when I do that, then I can really crank them out. This one's been an hour a day for, I don't know, 6 months. This is my second one in the year's period. Usually I can do better than that. And like John and I were talking today, I'm really not a fast builder. I just put in more time doing it. I'm willing to sit and sand for the 100 hours that it takes, or whatever it takes. And I've been doing it all my life. I found it funny one time. I love sanding. I love sanding. Okay, no problem. Look at my channel. There's I have 3,000 videos of how to build stick and tissue airplanes. Plus, there's the hangouts. All I do is Jap tissue and balsa dope. That's all I do. And little history. Did you see my Tucker? Have you seen that airplane? The last one I just finished? I'll show you if you'd like to see it. I took the other ones back to St. Louis, but I'll show this one. This is finished in the same way. The one I'll be flying at the Nats this year, maybe this one. Yes, there's 3,000 videos on my channel. I'll show you this airplane here. Look, pilot just about ejected. I want everybody to know that, yeah, I really am a painter and a model builder. Let's see here. How can we get a better grip of it? There we go. This is the last one I finished. It has, I don't know, it ain't bad. It's a little heavy. It's 62 ounces. I wanted it at 58, like my one hanging on the wall right there. 58 ounces. That would be much better, but we're going to give this one a whirl. Super Tiger 60. The other ones have PA 75s, like the one behind me here, the one that I flew last year. And I want you to know that people say, where do you get those decals? They ain't decals. Everything I do is paint. This is all painted on. So I just thought I'd show that so you know that if you came over from Bad Chad's channel, I really do know about painting. And when I said carted off, I explained that last night. I started out when I first started painting, I started out in the U.S. military painting F-14s. Well, that's not true either, because I painted models, but when I started painting real equipment, was 1974. We got the first, well, we had A7s, but we transitioned to F-14s. And I got on the corrosion control crew. So I was taught to paint by the United States military. So I probably know something about painting. I painted many motorcycles, many cars. And I have no clue how many airplanes I built in my life, but many, many, many. If you look at the 1976 Bicentennial F-14, that's my design, and I painted it. You can find a picture of it on the web. And the picture that it was taken was sitting at NAS Miramar VF-124 Hangar Bay number 1. And if you look up VF-211, the Checkmates, that's my design, painted by me, real airplanes. Buenas noches. Thank you very much. A little history. Yeah, good evening, Chris. Thank you for the super chat on the previous stream. That helps. Like, subscribe, and share. Hey, when you subscribe, there's a little bell there. Ring that bell for notifications so that you know when I come on, because I've been coming on three times on a Saturday. I usually do 2 Saturday at John's, and then 1 after John's, like I'm doing tonight, because I shot the white on this, and now the sand out. The sand out will go today and tomorrow. I might shoot a little white tomorrow with my Grex paint gun and my little compressor here, but you won't get to see that because it's inside outside. It's a lot of great when you can get back to your hobby shop. Oh, that'd be great. Whatever. I always appreciative. So here I am in this light. I'm candling still. There's a little gloss on it now. I can see where the highs and the lows are. We're going to do some of the aqua green spotting yet tonight. And we'll let that dry until tomorrow. I know there's a spot over here and there's a spot over here. Everything has to be perfect without primer. Let me see you do that. Perfect without primer. Primer is heavy. You hear that noise? What does that mean? It means it's not sand. little spot here I can see. That's probably going to take the macro green to get that. See, a car guy will put on clear to get the shine. I can't do that. I have to sand to get the shine. See, one of my motors in my RC boat weighs as much as that aircraft. Yeah, this is 51 ounces right now. And I'd like to keep it that way. It's got a PA 75 in it. These are no toy airplanes. I mean, the motors put out serious horsepower. You can lose your finger real easy with a carbon prop. I don't know how Richard Oliver didn't lose his finger when I heard him the last time. This ain't like a Cox airplane where you know, this cut your finger right off. They put out serious power. So basically, I haven't really got serious on doing this yet, but I will. Pull this flap off, and I need to tissue this flap too. Yeah, we'll just leave that alone. A little blood there. That's a little hole, so it's a pinhole that needs to be spotted. Yeah, when I told Chad to card the lines off the other night, I wasn't kidding. You just take a credit card and card the lines off, they'll smooth right out. No need to step back. Same thing with the heat gun. I heat the tape while I'm pulling it off if I have a doubt. The more heat, the better. Easier it comes off. Okay, let's see here. I cannot believe this dope is powdering off already. Danny, if you're watching, you better be sanding. We ain't got a whole lot of time left. I got 3 airplanes right here I can fly at the nets. Maybe the 4th here. And I got a few at home that I could fly at the nets. But you got to get on the stick. And you can have nothing to fly this year. Because you got a month's worth of practice to do yet. So I'm trying to sand out all the shiny nibs. Oh, I don't care. You can do it any way you want. I got 58 years experience doing this. Painting. Yep, prepping. You got a channel little history. What do you build over there? Because I'll go and sub to you. Because whether you guys know it or not, this is all the same. It doesn't matter whether you're doing this, a motorcycle, a car, a boat, it's all the same. And if you can go to a guy's channel and watch him and you pick up one little thing that he does, hey, you're better off. All you got to do is use it. So I'm happy to watch somebody's techniques. I guess you're a boat channel. Oh, I got to stay off that. World War II tanks and boats. Well, here's one for you to watch. If you want to watch a guy that really knows his stuff about metalwork, he built the tank, RC tank, and he's building his own 1930s racer. Look for Macro Machines. Young guy in college. The guy is a fabulous metalworker. I learned about hydroforming. I didn't know about that. I think his dad must be teaching him this stuff. And if you're going to waste time on YouTube, don't watch stupid cat videos. Watch something you might could use. Okay, I got a little spot right there. I'm going to have to acryl. I'd like to get it as close as possible. I will definitely look at your channel and sub to you a little history when this video is over. Now I was at the Air Force Museum, and these guys that were in their 80s. Now remember, I was an aviation structure mechanic in the Navy, so A&P. These guys were sitting at this table, and they were rebuilding World War II aircraft, or World War I aircraft, like Sopwith Camels and Fokker D7s and stuff. And we got talking about the dope. And I was telling them about the plasticizer. They had no clue what I was talking about. And these guys were the restorers of these airplanes. That's when I was there when the Memphis Belle first came in. And they had a meet and greet symposium type thing. And I was talking to them. And they had no clue about plasticizing the dope. I can't talk about double boiling, but I do something with double boilers that'll make the dope really work good too. But I don't know what the flash point of dope is, but it's pretty dangerous to do, so I don't talk about it too much. Not going to tell you how to do it. Just look up old furniture finishers trick. Those are not decals. Look back on my channel, little history, go to my channel and look for gold leaf lettering. And I show you how to cheat, how to do gold leaf lettering the cheating way without using artist. I got artist quills and sizing and leaf and stuff, but I show how anybody can do a quality gold leaf lettering job. And it looks as good as any sign painter ever did. Go back and look for that video. It's on my Monado that's hanging on the wall back at home. See that thing sitting right there? That's a sign plotter. That vinyl is sign material. I do all the plotting on Corel Draw and I can't even remember the name of that program. Sure Cuts a Lot Pro. And you plot that and then cut out the stencil, stick it down, spray it over. Real simple. I can hand letter, I can pinstripe. But the bad thing about it is you can't get one-shot sign painters paint anymore. One-shot sign painters paint was discontinued because it has lead in it. Well, now that it's not one shot, it's one shot without lead. It ain't one shot. It's 2-shot or 3-shot. You can't strike with it anymore. Just like they killed the DC 540. So I'm kind of stuck. John Kosmowski from House of Color, he's got some stuff, but I don't know. It ain't as good as one shot. There is a trick to doing those painted on decals like I do. You got to just watch how I do the reverse mask and all that stuff. It's all paint. Everything I do is paint. Even my Thunderbolt, everything on it, including the microscopic nomenclature for you know, it had wheel tire pressure and exhaust and crank here. It's beautiful. You can find that on Stunt Hanger in the either the front row or District 6. Matter of fact, it's the nose of it's the top right nose art of it. Anyway, that was all painted on. Everybody said, where did you get those decals? It wasn't. It was painted on. And it was military stenciled, laser stencils by Tank's Hanger. Unfortunately, he ain't doing it anymore. And I understand why. I got turned on to him by Al Rabe. All that stuff is just too time consuming. So I about got all the white paint that I put on today sanded back off. Got a spot there that needs some attention, but I'm not going to be able to get it. I think I'm going to have to shoot a little of the, I have a little DC 540 left, some color line left. The real stuff. Broke my heart when they quit making that. So any of you guys that say, I went out and bought a case of DC 540, you might as well just take it and pitch it because it's no good. It has to say contains ketones, toluene, and xylene. That's the stuff that's good. You can tell how old this can. Look at the label. Now it looks the same and it has the same part number, but it says contains biodegradable aromatic something or other. It's junk. You throw it out. It's no good. And the replacement for that primer. This is heavier. It doesn't dry quite as fast. It still has xylene in it, but I don't think as much as this Crest AH-BG primer. $15 a can. And that'll probably go up here shortly. The only stuff that works. Danny, I know you're watching. Danny tried to get me to use some shellac primer. He had some stuff. It kind of worked, but I mean, it's great for furniture. But we ain't building furniture. We're building airplanes, and I don't want to monkey around with stuff I don't know whether it's going to work or not. See my pile of wood over. All that whole box back there is wood. And I got more wood in St. Louis. But I'm always looking to buy wood. So if you guys got a surefire source to contest wood, let me know. I'll take $300 at a click. But it's got to be 4 to 6 pounds. What does it say? I have Captain Robert K. Morgan autograph. Okay. Yes. Why do I kind of know that name, but I can't place it. As far as little history goes, the reason why the dope was different back when you were building stick and tissue airplanes, it was called Aerogloss. And Aerogloss uses MEK, methyl ketone tech, in it. And the formula was great. It was made by Pactra, and then first it was made by Testers, then Pactra bought them out. And it was good stuff. It was great stuff. And when they quit making red label Aerogloss, damn, they won another good product. So I got a bugger right there I got to get out. So this is basically the Zen of sanding. I've been sanding for an hour now. Oh, part of the Memphis Belle. Cool. That name sounded familiar, but I wasn't quite sure where to place it at. Yeah, I'll tell you what. I gave the Air Force Museum $50. I got a coin from them. It's the worst mistake I ever made. They bugged the crap out of me now, wanting money. But I figure I go there for free and get in, so I give them the $50. Man, they just hound me now. So the Zen of sanding is kicking in. There'll be a whole lot of it on this. I'm sure John's listening to me, Sam. I think my buddy, big old Jim Lynch, is probably listening in. There's a builder right there. I think he must be getting close to 80 years old. I think all of us guys are old guys. I mean, this is pretty much dying art. If you're 56 and you're still building, you're a young guy. The average age on my channel is 60. This is it's a dying art. Nobody does it. Everybody's the buy and fly crowd. But that's not what, I mean, I was attracted to this hobby. Let me show you a picture of what this airplane is going to look like. It's going to look exactly like my other airplane in St. Louis that's hanging on the wall. This airplane is the classic Continental. And this airplane will be painted exactly the same. This is a bigger airplane than this one. This one here is I think it's a 56-inch wingspan, and this is a 58-inch wingspan. This has a George Aldrich Super Tiger 46 in it. This is modern day numbers with a PA-75 on a CAS muffler. So this airplane should outperform this airplane by far. But this is the model that got me excited about Stunt. And that's what I'm going to do. I had one that I sold. I thought his name was Redmond, but I sold to Tim. And he has it. I did that one in 07. I flew it, I think, at 21st. Well, God, I hope so. Otherwise, we're going to lose it. It'll all be lost. You know, when I was a kid, the welding shop was like a blacksmith shop. I'd go down there and watch them hammer shit on an anvil. How come you're doing that? Why are you doing this? How'd you do that? And there was guys in that shop that could take a car spindle and repair it. Well, that's good, Chris. Keep building. That's exciting. When I met you in Cleveland, I think, and we'll be back at Cleveland. And you make sure you stop and say hello to me. Hey, great. Yeah, maybe Billy will show up again and I'll introduce you to him. He's a character. I don't know whether you know him or not, but I've known him for a long time. He's the granddaddy of them all. I think he's got to be getting close to 80 now, too. The godfather of Stunt, Billy Warwick. If you go back, there's an interview on my channel, Billy Warwick. I also did Paul Walker, I think, and I had to do them again. What do you guys think? You think I ought to do some more interviews with some of the stunt celebrities? Ted Fancher, Brett Buck, them guys. Ted is our at the handle moderator. Are you going to be down for Modelorama? Well, I was told today that It's going to start Friday. Well, Friday I'll be at work. So Saturday I'll be there, but not Friday. John will be there with the buzzards. I probably ought to see if I can take off Friday. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot pressing where I'm working. Work is really slowed down. BLS is kind of slowed down. We're not doing 100 trucks now. No, those red-billed planes can fly like that. Yes, I do. I used to judge our contest. Oh, okay, great. Yes, a Red Bull racer can really fly like that. Why? Power to weight. Anything will fly if you put enough horsepower to it. And anything will fly well if it's light enough. So that's why I try to keep these airplanes so light. Well, I'm candling it here and I'm seeing some shiny spots. For you car guys who don't understand candling, I've explained it over and over again. That's looking at the lows and with the light instead of with primer. I can't remember that guy's name. Let me see. Let me see if I can pull up this picture. There was a guy there in Cleveland that had a 25-year-old yellow air. I thought it was Aerogloss, but he said it was Sig, painted with Sig dope. Let me see, look here. We'll see if we can find this picture. Really pretty airplane. Pretty light too. One of Billy's entourage. Let's see if that comes up. Nope. Nope. So it wasn't those. Image 2. Yep. No, that's me and Billy. There's me and Billy. Let's have it this image here. Nope, that's Stunt hanger. I will have to add an image. Let's see here. We'll add an image. Come on now. I want to add an image. Shit. I want to add image. I want to, okay, we're browsing. Let's browse. And I don't know where they are now. Image files. Why the hell would it be there? Let's look at desktop. And light burner maybe. No. Inkscape. No. No. No, 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 no. I'd like to find this picture of this airplane and show you guys. It was beautiful. OBS, plane parts, RC plan, video. Let's look at that one. Here we go. Found it. Open. Uh-oh. Okay, I got to resize this. Image 5, fit to screen. Transform, fit to screen. There we go. That was a real nice airplane. Real nice. I think it was some type of, I don't know. It looked kind of like a Cobra. It was an I-beam, but oh, get rid of that. Gotta get rid of that one. Transition back to this. Okay. Hell, running in. Yeah, Uranus. Danny, that sounds about right. Danny, I think Billy called him Danny. That was a nice airplane. I guess the guy don't fly no more, but whatever. Let's see. I guess now we'll turn it over and do the bottom side. I think I got the top about as far as I'm going to take it without adding a little acryl and a little primer, spot primer. And the stunt world is a pretty small community. I mean, heck, buddy of mine, Danny Winship, found my channel here, and I hadn't seen him in 20 years or so, and now we're in touch again. But most of the guys have died off, unfortunately. I got to take the canopy and eject the pilot before I turn him over. So, not only is this it's a dying art because everybody's dying. Ah, there's a bugger right there. See, I caught that in the candle. Let's see, I need a piece that I can stick to my finger. Those fillets. I got out of motorcycles. Two kind of motorcycle riders. You know, I worked for Harley Davidson for a million years. Two kind of riders, ones who have crashed and ones who are going to crash. I've been down, I've had my share. I'm too old. I don't want to get hurt. I mean, it would take a long time to heal up now. I can't believe Wendy at 80 years old is monkeying with, and he ain't monkeying with no toy motorcycles. He's monkeying with super high performance motorcycles, Hayabusa and stuff like that. I'll tell you a story about Hayabusa. I was working for Woodman Harley Davidson, and this was 99. And Hayabusa came over, and this is before they throttled them back. They would do 200 miles an hour plus out of the crate. Bone stock. They were something else. So during setup, I unboxed, you know, because I had to work on Harleys and Suzuki. Take them out of the crate, put them together, take them for a test drive. Well, we had a test loop that we stayed on. You go up the Gasconade, over to Highway 55, get on the freeway, run it down to Broadway, come on back. By the time you get up, from Gasconade to Broadway, which ain't very far, I could do 150 miles an hour. And it was pulling, and then you get off, almost get to the off ramp, and then get on the brakes. And them 8-piston Brembo brakes will really stop. I mean, they really stop. And so Scott Cromeroy from Harley Davidson, the first year of the V-Rod, 99, came down. He said, I want you to test drive a V-Rod. I said, okay, great. So we unboxed it, and that went to Ron, the guy, the T-shirt guy. Now I can't remember. Anyway, I'll think of his name after the program. Anyway, so Cromeroy says, take it for a test drive. Let's see what you think. Okay, great. You know, at this time, I was running drag bike, top alcohol. So, 200 mile an hour, no big deal. So I get on this V-Rod, and I take it on the route, and I crack it down all the way to, it's puking its guts out. I get back to the shop, and Scott says, what do you think? I said, it's weak. He said, weak. I said, yeah, it rides like a buckboard, and it turns like a tank, and it's got no balls. He said, well, you got to get it up on the rev limiter. I said, Scott, I had the valves floating. I had it wound tight. And these things are dogs. So the moral of the story is, and I see V-Rod is discontinued now. And I knew it was a thing, just like Eric Buell and his Buell, which was really a Sportster. I didn't think much of V-Rod. Anything you got to take the motor out of it to adjust the valves is kind of stupid. But that's engineers for you. They're overthinking their shit. A little bump right there. Needs a little acro, but I don't want to put it in there. Kind of want to stay away from the acro as much as possible. Suzuki Hayabusa is an impressive machine, and I can't believe Wendy's monkeying with them at 80 years old. Good luck, buddy. Anybody that watched the plywood insert here, you got to know that it looks really good up close. You'll see it when you just use a face wipe. My face still covered in red spray paint from painting a hull earlier today. Next time, spray outside. Well, I can tell you a story about red paint. When I painted that Monado that's in the video, I painted it upstairs in my house, in my model room, and had the doors and had the door shut and the windows open, the fans going. And the entire house was covered with red overspray inside. The filter in the furnace was completely solid red. Red is the worst color to paint. And this is going to be red, white, and blue. And when I paint those red stripes, I'll guarantee it'll bleed somewhere. Then you got to come back with white and fix it. So Chad likes to sand. I give him some sanding jobs. I could tell he's a good sander. I could tell about the only guy I've ever seen on video that sands like I do. Sanding is definitely an art. What I'm doing here by doing that is I'm sighting down the way and I can see the shadow. And you just keep sanding until the shadow goes away. And you know you got it round. And when I lay this next coat on, it better go down like glass. Okay, let's see how bad it looks underneath. I'm sure it's terrible. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is one of the superfill fillets I forgot to sand out. This will take quite a while to get right. Might have to go to 180 on that. But superfill sand's much easier than Bondo. Half the weight, twice the price. Good stuff. I went over there on that other channel and I made a remark. All I do is sand. And boy, there was some snide remarks on that. But the guys who have watched my channel for a while know that it's 100% correct. That's all I do is sand. So if you want to watch sanding, this is the channel to watch. Because I'm either sanding or gluing shit together. But it's a zen. It's very relaxing to me. There's a hard spot right there, but it's not bad. I got that out. And where I floated the stuff over here, because this will be a checkerboard bottom, you won't see this. We're gonna luck out on that deal. Hard spot right there. That's about as good as it's going to get on that. I see lots of shinies over there. That's no good. Yeah, thank you, Alan. Yeah, I'm the Bob Ross of sanding and the Eric Brin of streaming. Get those plates a spinning. I would say that building one of these takes at least twice as long to sand as a car. At least. Because you can sand a car with a DA or a body file, and I can be done in a couple hours, but this goes on for hundreds of hours. It's because I'm not using any primer. So we're going to have a paper change here. Looks the same, it ain't. This is 180. This should bring up the blue superfill rather quickly. Then I'll hit it with the 320. You guys can't see that. There's a shine on it. Now you can see it. See the blue superfill being brought up? If you look, let's see if I can get it in close. If you look, you can see the superfill. You can see white wood superfill, white superfill, white. That means that that's low. So the trick is to sand that white out and blend the superfill in to the wood, if that makes sense. If you want it to look like one piece. That's pretty good there. Be careful out here, especially with 180, because that tissue sands through pretty fast. You burn through the tissue, then you got to put some CA on it or something. I got a hole right there. No, it's just a booger. Just a booger. See that white spot there? That's a low. You got to sand that away. Now, car guy would just put some green on it and be done. But we can't afford to wait, so we're going to sand until it's leveled. And that's how you keep your finish at 6 ounces. Don't add, take away. It's the only way you're going to get it light. If you're going to attempt something like this particular fillet area, this nose is fiberglass now, done with 1/2 ounce cloth and Z-epoxy. You cannot do this without doing that. You couldn't do this into tissue. You would burn through the tissue before you got it smoothed out. When I told you the compound curve of this, it goes around the corner this way, it goes up over the corner this way, and it goes up this way. So but boy, does it look cool when it's done right. And not to brag, I've only seen one other guy do it besides me that looks right. And that was the guy I learned it from. Not to say that nobody can do it. I just ain't seen it. I need to glue sandpaper to my finger. Okay, let's do that. If you're a young guy watching this, ask your mother before you glue sandpaper to your fingers. I don't want to get in trouble. Drop the CA. This is sticky back paper, but the glue on the sticky back will not hold the paper on when you're doing these, so you got to drop the CA. Shit, I don't think that's going to hold either. Doesn't feel like it. Maybe I need another drop. Maybe I have to hit it with kicker. I told one of the guys at work about using CA to heal your cuts. You just put a drop of CA on it. No, you don't. Okay, whatever. I do it all the time. That blended pretty good, except there's going to be, it looks to me like there's going to be a line right there. I can't get it out. Got it. That line is held with 64 ply. You figure all these doodads I put on this thing probably put an extra week's work on it. The multi-holes and the shotgun cowl and huge fillets, the curvy reliefs, the backwards. I know it's added a week's work. But that's what makes this airplane. How am I going to get that out of there? You guys heard enough of my goofy stories? When I was a kid, I had this friend, Danny Napolitano. And he flew airplanes with us. Ken Pasco, Danny Napolitano, Rob Gow. Airplanes was a big thing when I was a kid. Huge thing. They just broke the sound barrier. And so airplanes was a big deal. I think the X-15 was just starting to come around. X-1 had already flown. And I think Chuck Yeager actually broke the sound barrier in a P-51 in a nose-down dive. Anyway, these friends of mine, Ricky Seacard, Danny Napolitano, Rob Gow, we'd all fly together. Well, my dad was a modeler as well. So he liked to hang out with the guys. And Danny asked my dad for a ride to the Poop motorcycle store. He had a Poop dirt bike. And he's in there with my dad. And I wasn't there. This is just a story I got from Danny and my dad. He said, the salesman said, "Can I help you, sir?" He said, "Yeah, I want to hear, look at these here pooches." He said, "It's pook, not pooch." He said, "Well, they sure look like dogs to me." Danny was a character. "What kind of mess do you call this?" "A big one, Mom, a big one." We raised hell. It feels like it's digging right there. We took Danny to the High Sierras. Now here's one for you. I mean, this is how I was really into airplanes, and so was Danny. We went camping one year to the High Sierras. We're 10,000 or 12,000 feet above ground, and the tree line, just a little hike up and the tree line's gone, whatever the height was on that High Sierras. I had a Scat Rat, had a Torpedo 40 on it. And we're going to fly this thing at altitude. And a Scat Rat don't have much lift anyway. You get that motor screaming. Everybody's camping, Nobody's flying model airplanes up in the mountains like that. Get this motor screaming. Danny lets it go, and wham! Right into the trees it goes, because I was going to try to go up over the top of this tree. We didn't have a whole lot of area to take off in. Wham! Up in the tree it goes. So that ends the end of our flying. Well, Danny and I decide, well, we're gonna go hiking. So we go hiking. He gets bit by a snake. It's like 40 miles to town, and there's nobody around but the park ranger. My dad says, "Oh shit!" So it goes to the park ranger. "Hey, this kid here got bit by a snake." "What kind of snake was it?" "I don't know. One that goes snake." So, well, let me look at it. So he looks at it and he says, "Well, doesn't look poisonous." What a dumbass. Doesn't look poisonous. Don't play with the snakes. Just don't go to sleep. It's kind of like what they did with me when I was bit by a scorpion. Wash it, soap and water, pack it nice. If your lips turn blue, give us a call. I think that particular trip I got a treble hook embedded in my hand too. The park ranger had to dig that out. We were always pulling some kind of stunt. Like I say, I don't know how my dad lived through my childhood. But he's a good sport. That turned out decent. Might get a little primer on it tomorrow. I don't want to put a can of primer on this. I just want to I just want to spot them in, and I don't have a regular compressor and paint gun here. I got a little compressor and a Grex. Let's switch to 320. I think I'll go on just a little bit more. Then I'm going to end the video until tomorrow. I'm going to eat dinner. Let me tell you what's going to happen tonight. I'm going to eat dinner. I'm going to end the video in 14 minutes. I'm going to eat dinner, watch a little TV, and go back to sand until about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm not going to do it on camera. Tomorrow I'll be back on. We'll do a little bit of priming outside. I do mean a little. I don't paint in this apartment. This apartment is the size of a bathroom. You got a trailer hook in my thigh. Not fun. Oh yeah, a treble hook. They had to cut the barb off and push it all the way through to get it out of me. That hurt. Come tomorrow morning, I should have this sand out complete. Tomorrow we'll a little primer. We'll glue the canopy on. I'll show you how to do that. There'll be a 5-minute pause. I'll be holding my breath while I glue the canopy on because you get one shot, and you can watch it, but I'm not sure how much talking I can do. So, has anybody learned anything about my paint jobs? What makes them shine? Can anybody tell me? Why do they shine with no paint? And the funny thing is when you're done with this and you're done painting, you ain't done sanding. You got 3 more sand outs to go. $1,500 or 2,000, 3,000, and 5,000 plus a 10,000 buff out. So the diet does work too, guys. I got guys that you bet, Mike. The diet does work. If you sand like I sand and use my painting method where you get 1 quart of clear dope and that's all, you will do a super light finish. But it takes a lot of grease. Elbow grease, and you got to buy it by the case. I need to make up a can as a novelty, elbow grease, and sell it. Now that looks funky, but that feels good. We don't care what it looks like right now. I just want to know what it feels like. I still got this side to do yet too. And back here. Yeah. Anybody can paint. Not everybody can sand. See, painting is about 5% of the job. If that. Anybody that's watched this channel knows that I will sand for 100 hours and paint for 10 minutes. And that's it. And you don't take no time at all to paint. I think this is probably my 10th or 15th sand out on this. And there'll probably be 3 to 5 more sand outs before it's complete. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds like, what do you do that for? Well, the only way you can get it light. That's all I can explain. You got to paint with no paint. And the only way to do that is to sand. This material is very heavy. Urethane is super heavy. Yeah, that's it. I'll only sell you a quart. That's all you get. You get 1 quart of clear and 1/2 pint of color. That's all you get. Then I'll give you a little trim colors if you want red, white, or blue, and just give you a little bit, and that's it. Well, I think that's going to do it for this evening. I was going to go a little more, but I'm starting to get hungry. And I appreciate you guys watching and all the thumbs up and all the support on Stunt Hanger. And I need to check out Little History's channel. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's see here. We'll see you tomorrow. Fair winds, tight lines, and keep sanding. That's all I got to say. See ya.